In this demonstration, we want to compare the percentage of patient satisfaction between the Main Street and South Avenue offices. This is a one-to-one structure. We're comparing proportions. Therefore, we will use the two-proportion test. The file will be patient data, and our alternative hypothesis will be set up that the Main Street office is not equal to the South Avenue office relative to percent of patient satisfaction. The null hypothesis will be that they are the same. Let's open our file and get busy. All right, this particular exercise is going to focus on column P, where we have our satisfaction scores in a discrete fashion. If you answered column I, overall satisfaction, between a 4 and a 5, we marked you as satisfied in column P. If you scored overall satisfaction as a 1, 2, 3 on the survey, column P will show you as not satisfied. So column P is definitely discrete data. And then we will do this by office. Notice that we have 3 offices, but we're really only comparing 2 of those 3 offices. That will come into play in just a moment. Now, if we wanted to just go straight to the two-proportion test and get busy with our analysis, you would see that we have a problem. We'll go to Statistical Tools, Basic Stat Templates, and then we go to the two-proportion test and confidence interval. You'll see that this wants summarized counts. The software will compare the proportions. It will calculate that for you, but you need the summary counts. So if we go back to patient data, I don't know about you, I don't want to spend all afternoon taking column P and manually counting all of the satisfieds and the not satisfieds. Therefore, the first thing we will do is an easy pivot table. To get the easy pivot table, again, we go to Graphical Tools, Easy Pivot. We'll use Entire Table next. We want SAT Discrete as our X1, Office as the X2. We don't need the charts, but we would like grand totals, so make sure to check that box. When we hit OK, we immediately get this table. So the Easy Pivot table has done its job. It has summarized the count data for us. What we need to memorize or write down on the side is that Main Street had 16 satisfied patients out of a total of 31 surveys returned. South Avenue had 37 satisfied patients out of a total of 42 surveys returned. With that, we can stay right on this sheet. We go to Sigma Excel, Stat Tools, Basic Stat Templates, and we'll go to the two-proportion test and confidence interval. Now, some older versions of Sigma Excel have a little quirk in it. Rather than going in and entering the number of events first, we want to enter the sample size first. But what are all these boxes about? Well, when you see the yellow up here, those are things that you can modify in this template. Right now, sample 1 will be the Main Street office, and N will be the total number of surveys. That was 31. And the total number of surveys for the South Avenue office was 42. We now go up to the number of events, and for sample 1, Main Street, we had 16 satisfied people. That's what we call an event. A satisfied patient is an event. And for sample 2, South Avenue, we put in 37. In this box, it is asking us how we want our alternative hypothesis to be set up. And you'll notice that it has a little drop down. We have less than, greater than, or not equal. From our materials, we know that we want a two-sided comparison, so we will set that as not equal. And here are several things for you to immediately observe. Like always, we want to go to the p-value. In this case, the p-value is 0.0011. Less than 0.05, we reject the null. In fact, on this template, it has error-proofed this. And up here on the right, if we scroll over, you will see that the null hypothesis is marked in red, and it says that we should reject the null. And what this is really saying is this: 51.6% of Main Street patients were satisfied. 88.1% of South Avenue patients were satisfied. The difference between those, if you were to take Main Street minus South Avenue, is a 36% difference between those. That's rather significant. That's why we have a very low p-value. The confidence interval at the bottom is telling us that if you were to survey all patients for the Main Street office and all patients for the South Avenue office, that we are 95% sure that the difference between those proportions in the populations would be somewhere between 15% and 54% difference. Because it's sample 1 minus sample 2, in order to get that difference, it's Main Street minus South Avenue, and those numbers are negative. What that is telling us is we are 95% certain that South Avenue is different than Main Street, and that difference is anywhere from 15% to almost 55% in terms of difference in satisfaction. So to summarize, we reject the null due to the low p-value, and we conclude that the South Avenue office has statistically significantly higher levels of patient satisfaction, and that level of satisfaction is anywhere from 15% to 54% higher than the Main Street office. Let's move on and have you do an exercise yourself.